Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Tonight for my Facebook Live I made this card, but unfortunately the internet cut out halfway through. So I'm going to quickly remake the card just so that you can see how I did the bottom piece, because I think I was just up to colouring when the internet went off. So this is the card we're making, and it's part of my Fond of Autumn class, which is a Zoom class on September the 23rd. It's a $40 class. You get the stamp set and supplies to make 3 different cards and a PDF. If you would like a space, please let me know before Sunday the 11th of September, because that's when I have to put the order in. But let me show you again how I made this lovely card. I started off with a base of our basic white. Now I didn't use the thicker white because we've got a layer of card on the top and 2 layers of card on the inside, and I didn't think it needed the extra heavyweight card for it. I've got 2 pieces of Cajun craze, and they're cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and 1 piece will go on the front and 1 piece will go on the inside. So let's attach those. I'll attach the one for the inside, but I'll wait to put the designer series paper on the one for the front. Now also on the inside there will be another layer of basic white, and that's just cut 1/4 inch smaller. It's cut at 3 3/4 by 5. Let's pop this in. There we go. Now, I'm using these for my Thanksgiving cards because here in Canada our Thanksgiving is in October, so it's not too long away, and I thought I'd get a head start on making them. Now we put half of a piece of designer series paper onto the front, and to cut that you need to have, let me just get my trimmer, you need to have a piece that's 3 3/4 by 5. And my piece has no directional print on it that you can see, so it doesn't matter which way around I use it. But if yours does have a directional print, just be aware that when we cut it, it's going to be this piece that's at the top left. So you want your pattern running sort of top to bottom and make sure it's the right way. You need to make a mark on the right hand side at about 1 inch down, and at the bottom left about 1 inch up. You can eyeball it, it doesn't have to be exactly 1 inch, but I'm going to measure mine just so that you can see how to do it. So this is the top. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and line it up on the 1 inch mark, and just where our cutting track is I'm going to put a little pencil mark. So then when you put it back, you'll see it's at that top right. The next one is going to be at the bottom left going up. So I'm going to turn it 90 degrees this way, line it up on the 1 inch mark again, make a little pencil mark, and then these 2 pencil marks I'm going to line up in the track itself. I can see that the bottom one's in line, just there, and I'm going to move the paper until the top one is in the track as well. And then I'm just going to cut it straight across. This will make another card. We only need 1 piece of it. Let's move that out of the way. So this is the piece we're going to use. So this one you could use on another card, and because it's not directional, you can make it exactly the same, or you could make your card sort of upside down and have this piece at the bottom instead. But I'm going to put it on one side because I know I'm going to be making some more pieces. And then I have a very small piece of a different designer series paper. It's actually the back of the paper that I'm using, but you could use a different colour cardstock or a piece of metallic card, and it's to give us just a little extra focal point there. I'm going to pop some tear and tape on the back here, just along that diagonal line. Okay, just press that on. And I'm going to take the backing off. And then this piece, I'm just going to line it up. Excuse me while I just move my chair. I'm just going to line it up with a little bit showing. Now you can have as much as you want showing. You can have just a tiny little piece, or you could have a thicker piece. I'm going to use mine at about 1/4 inch, I think. There we go. And I'm just looking at it to make sure it's straight all the way along. There we go. And then I'm going to trim these ends off. And I'm using the edge of the Designer Series paper as my guide, and I'm just going to carry on cutting. So it gives you that same diagonal point. And that way you know it's going to line up properly. You could do this in your trimmer as well if you wanted, but it's such a small piece that really it's easy to do with scissors. There we go. Let's get rid of that. And then I've noticed I've just got a little pencil mark there, so I'm just going to erase it with my glue eraser. I don't think anybody else would actually see it, but I know it's there. Okay. And so this piece now becomes the top left of our card, and I'm just going to attach it. And you can see it's got a nice little border all the way around. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, but you could use a liquid glue, you could use your tear and tape. You don't need too much glue on it. Oops, it stuck to my finger. Okay, and then just make sure that you've got the same border left and right and at the top. And now that piece can attach to our card base. I really don't know what happened on the Facebook Live. I don't know why the internet went off, but it just flickered for long enough that my phone stopped filming. Okay, so here's our card base, and I'm going to bring in the one that I did for my Facebook Live so you can see the next steps. I'm using the Thank You sentiment from the Fond of Autumn, and I've got Early Espresso, and I only want to be able to see the thank you at the top because my floral element is going to go around the bottom. So when I stamp, I'm going to stamp it sort of top left. And this is actually a 2 1/4 inch circle punch that I have that Stampin' Up used to do, and they don't do them anymore, but you could use one of the label punches, you could use something like the Stylish Shapes or the layering circles just to give you this shape. It doesn't even have to be a circle, you could cut a square out even. Okay, and that's going to go over here. What have I got on my finger? I think it's ink. And I'm going to pop that one on with dimensionals. And I know roughly where I want it to be so that I can still fit the floral image on. So I'm not worrying too much. But you could also line up the sentiment and put your floral image near it so you know whereabouts you need to be. I'm going to go, oops, not quite that far left. I'm going to go just to the left a little bit. There we go. Now I had already stamped my image, and it's this large image, and when I first got the stamp set I thought it was one big image, and it is, but when you stamp it you can see that there's a dividing line between them, so you can cut out these elements separately. If you don't have the dies, you can fussy cut each one, and that's what I did with my first card. You can see I fussy cut all the way around. It was really easy because you've got this little guideline going round that makes it simple. And if you're fussy cutting or if you use the die, you end up with 4 pieces. You get this one, then you get the acorn piece, and then you get these 2 leaf pieces. if you have the die set, let's just get, I've stamped these a couple of times, but if you have the die set, it fits on just perfectly and it's so easy to line up. I line it up so that I can see the very edge of the stamped image just on the inside of the die. Okay? And when you cut it out using this die, it will cut into those 4 pieces. If you want the whole image cut out, you can fussy cut again, or in the dies, one of the dies cuts out the whole of the stamp. That's this big one, just this big outline piece. So you can use it as one single image if you prefer. Let's pop that one back in there. Now, I already have a lot of these cut out. So once you cut it out with the die, you will get, let's see how these go. Just this way, I think, yeah. So you will get this piece, which is the acorn piece. You will get the floral piece, and you will get 2 of the leaf pieces. That's just like this. Okay. I prefer to colour mine when they're all pre-cut. For some reason, it's just a little bit easier for me. I just prefer it. So I'm going to colour these ones. And I'd already started. This is one that I had left over from my Facebook Live. So some of them are already done. I'm going to do this little flowery piece, and I'm going to do the berries first. Actually, I'll do the berries on both. I'm using light Cajun craze just for the circles, and I'm not fussing over the colouring or anything. I'm not the world's best colourer. I just like to use my blender pens. I'm not a watercolour artist or anything. So I like to use my blender pens and my watercolour crayons with a blender pen. Okay, so I'm colouring them in the light Cajun craze, and then I'm doing a little C with the dark Cajun craze at the bottom of the berry, and that will just make them have a little bit of depth. And you see that colour change in them. And then I need my evening evergreen for the leaves on this one. I'm going to colour them just with the bullet end. They're quite small. You can do them with the brush end, but sometimes when it's a smaller item, I tend to use this bullet nib. And if you wanted to do these in a lighter colour and put some shading on, you could do the lighter evening evergreen and then shade with the dark one. On these leaves, I'm not doing any shading. I'm just colouring them in with the dark. But on my Facebook Live, I was saying how pretty this would be if you coloured the berries red and the leaves in a green. And you could make, oops, let's pick this one up. You could make a few of them, look, and you could make a wreath. I think that would be really pretty. So it's not only a stamp set for autumn. You could use it for lots of things. Okay, now, these leaves I will do a little bit of shading on. I'm going to use the dark soft succulent, and I'm just going to go over those lines that Stampin' Up have already drawn, because you know that's where it needs to be a little bit darker. They've done the shading for you. And then with the light one, I'm just going to use little circles and colour the rest of the leaf in, but I'm going to go over the dark area as well, and that just blends it a little bit more seamless. You can't see sort of the start of the dark, and makes it look a bit better. Oh, I shouldn't have coloured that little bit there, but never mind. I got a bit carried away and coloured a bit more. I'm going to do these the same, but you could colour these leaves in bronzes and russets. I think that would look really pretty. ready for autumn. I don't think anybody will really notice that I've got that little piece there. But if you were worried, you could use the colour lifter pen, and you can just go over. This is a big area to go over, but you can just go over with your colour lifter pen and a couple of times, and it will take out that ink as well. Okay, and then for colouring in my flower, I used the Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie. And the dark Pumpkin Pie, I'm just going to do these little dots all the way around. I'm not stopping and going in each one. I'm just quickly going round with it. And that will give a nice finish. Once you've got all of the colour on, it will look really pretty. Again, I'm going over the lines that Stampin' Up have already added, because we know that's where we need to have a little bit more shading. And then I'm going to find my light pumpkin pie. Oh, let's do the Mango Melody part in the middle first. I've got the dark Mango Melody this time. I think I did the light one on my Facebook Live card. I'm just going to go over. And can you see those little bits where I'd gone over the edge with the pumpkin pie? Now they're just sort of blending in with my Mango Melody. You can't even see that they're there. Let me just do a little bit more on this. I don't think it's going to lift off just because it's such a large piece, and it's going to saturate the paper quite a lot. Okay, and then I've got my light pumpkin pie. I'll just double check. Yeah. And I'm going to go over little circles on all of those petals as well. And can you see how we're getting that like two-tone colour? You can't see where it begins and where it ends, but you get a little bit of variation in the petals. And they're a really nice autumnal colour. Now you could use this for birthday cards. You don't have to do autumnal colours. And just because it's an autumn stamp set, no, you can use it for any occasion. This would be nice in like a cherry cobbler on a holiday seasonal Christmas card. And just change these berries to red and maybe a garden green or a shaded spruce for the leaves. This would also be nice if you went over with a wink of Stella, and so the petals would really shimmer. Okay, and let's have a look. Let's just get that colour lifter again. It's taken a lot of it out. I bet if I let it dry for a while, I could get some more out. Okay, now I'm going to attach these pieces with dimensionals, and I want this first floral piece to be on top of the circle that we punched and over here on the edge of the Cajun Craze card. And I only want to put dimensionals across the bottom, and I'm going to put liquid glue here so that the whole image is flat. If I glue it all down, then this would stick up more than this bit, and it doesn't look particularly nice. So I'm going to just put dimensionals behind these two flowers and maybe these leaves. I'm not going to put it just under these berries. I like some of the parts to look like they're not glued down, and they're sort of giving a little bit of a shadow even. Okay, and then I need a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm not going to put it onto the punched circle. I'm going to put it onto the image, and that way I know that the glue isn't showing anywhere. It hasn't seeped out or it's not in the wrong place. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here, she says. Come on, glue. Let's find my little paper clip. And if I just use a paper clip and go down, then it starts to flow out a bit easier. There we go. Oh, that's a bit much. I don't want quite that much. I'm just going to take a little bit off. I take it off with a little piece of scrap card. I don't want too much. I don't want the paper to be, the glue to be seeping out from behind the paper. There we go. And then just eyeball sort of where you'd like it. There we are. And then our little berries are going to go under there as well. And I'm going to put this one over at the right. Just tuck it behind these berries, and I'm going to put a dimensional maybe at the top and at the side on that one. You could use the mini dimensionals, or you could cut these dimensionals in half if you wanted a smaller piece on. And I need just a little bit, oh, it's got glue on my finger. I need just a little bit of glue because this is going to go behind here. I need just a little bit on here and a little bit underneath. There we go. I'm going to lift it slightly just to make it easier to slide in. There we go. That's it. And then the same with this last little piece. I want it to go over here to sort of make that arc shape. So I only need a dimensional really in the middle behind these berries. So I'm just going to pop one there. And let me see where that's going to touch so we know where to put the glue. Just a little bit on those 2 points. That's all we need. Not too much. Lift it slightly. Oops. There we are. Stick that down. There we go. Okay, and the last things I need are some of my little rustic metallic adhesive backed, adhesive backed dots, and I'm going to put 3 on. I'm going to pop one on here, and then let's pop one over here. Whoops, where did that go? Stick over there. That one doesn't want to stick. Let's find a different one that wants to play. And I'm going to put one of the bigger ones up here. Put it right in the middle of that flower. That makes it look like a flower then as well. And last of all, I have a little bit of the twine. I have a little bit, it's just the brown twine that's in there. And I've tied a double bow, and I'm just going to attach that with a glue dot. And let's see where they are. There we go. I'm going to stick the bow onto the glue dot, and then as it comes off, it's actually bigger than the knot, so I'm just going to squish it in so it's only covering the knot. I don't want a little bit of it being able to stick to the envelope or anything. I'm going to pop that just there. There we go. And you can barely see where I did that colour lift in there. It's probably dry, so I can do a little bit more. Okay, so there's the card I made. If you have a piece left, you can colour in and stick on the inside here. I will probably cut out another set of the flowers, which is what I did for my first card, and pop that on the inside. Or you could stamp an image on here and on your envelope, anything just to make it all match. So thank you. I'm sorry if you are watching on the Facebook Live and it's suddenly cut out, but I hope that you'll be able to watch this on YouTube so you know how to finish the card. Thanks everybody. Take care, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye bye.